In this video, we're going to break down landing pages because it's really awesome that you can create an ad and people click on it and they go to it. But if you don't have the right landing page set up, you're not having the right landing page experience, then all those clicks and all that ad spend is for nothing. And so I'm going to talk to you about landing page setup philosophy, things that I use in my agency and things that I see GEICO and other online companies using that is tested, proven, and it works. And if you'll follow this strategy, you'll follow this way of thinking, it's going to help you think about the landing pages, the surveys, whatever it is that you want to set up when you're running ads from YouTube so that you get more conversions, you get more leads, and those leads coming at a lower cost. So we're going to break that down here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about follow-up in the next video and how following up with leads in a very strategic way in an intentional way is going to help you stay on top of them. And this is what the big boys do, right? They put a lot of thought, not just in the creative of the advertisement, but they put a lot of thought in the landing page. They put a lot of thought into the follow-up, and you having these tools and these foundational principles built in to your advertising is going to help you when it comes to competing and standing out with the likes of GEICO and other online companies. So watch this video, watch this training, break it down step by step on how you should set up your landing pages. Now, this is a copy of one of my surveys. I actually run this same survey in my ads. This is one of the ads that we run, and we are kind of taking a page out of GEICO's book. If you look at GEICO commercials, you'll hear them talk about truck insurance, or you'll hear them talking about motorcycle insurance. You'll hear them talking about things with different affinities. This is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm using the affinity of truck insurance. How did I come up with truck insurance? Well, quite simply put, trucks, the Ford F-150 is the number one purchased vehicle in my state. So I went with trucks to get in front of more people who drive trucks. I just want to get in front of an audience. But let's talk a little bit about the philosophy here. This is a landing page that takes people and it acts like a survey. It is a survey. The vendor that I use as of November 17th, 2019, as I'm filming this, is Survey Gizmo. Just a disclaimer, I am not an affiliate for Survey Gizmo. I don't make any money. If you use Survey Gizmo, use whatever you like. I happen to prefer Survey Gizmo because it's fast, it's easy, and it gives me some really cool tools and features that aren't found in a lot of other softwares and a lot of other survey pages or web pages. So I use Survey Gizmo, and I've designed my survey to look like this. Of course, I've put a header up here, and reading top to bottom, left to right, I did the title here, and I have all my text here to the left, and then I have a photo to the right. And I specify everything as a quiz. This is a survey, meaning they have to answer certain questions, and by answering questions, they get to the end. If they answer a question that I don't like, then if they answer it in a way that I don't like, then I will disqualify them, and I'll show a little bit of what that looks like. But I have a little bit of text here. I'm putting a phone number so people know that this is a legitimate, you can call somebody. It's got my name on there as far as my agency name, and I'm asking them a very simple question. I like to use quiz because if I say survey, then it feels like you're at the doctor's getting a checkup, and people don't like that. Or it feels like work. I don't want work. If I make them always select radio buttons or check boxes, then it feels like work. So I've gamified this a little bit, and I go with photographs. I like to use pictures because people, the picture resonates with the brain faster. They know what it is. Of course, I've labeled these Chevy truck, Dodge truck, Ford truck, but I've made the first question very simple. If you don't know, if you have to put any thought into what brand truck you drive, well, then there's bigger issues here. So we should be able to quickly and with little friction be able to select what we want. So I'm just going to say Chevy truck. It auto advances, so I didn't have to do a single thing on that, but by selecting that photo, it auto advances. I didn't make them have to come over here to the next button and click next. It just goes on, and that's really helpful, and it was fast. There wasn't any loading. It just happened almost in a blink of an eye, and that's another reason why this style works really, really well, is fast page speeds, images, auto advance. Great. Now, the next question is how is your 3-year driving history? Tickets or at-fault accidents? Do you have a clean record, or do you have some blemishes? If you ask the question, a lot of people don't know how many tickets they have, but they know they have some. So if they say some, I could at this point just kick them out, and I could just say they're not qualified. We're not gonna find an option for them. For the sake of going on, I'm gonna do clean record, and it auto advances again. How many vehicles do you own? Very simple. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Not a whole lot of thought goes into this. I know how many vehicles I have. I know how many I don't have. There's no friction in the brain when it comes to thinking of an answer. So I'm going to do 2. How many drivers do you insure? Is it just me? Well, there's 1. 2 drivers. You and somebody else. 3 drivers, 4 drivers. Again, staying with the picture idea because I want more conversions as I go through the survey. So I'm going to say 2 drivers. What best describes your living situation? Now we're starting to get into a little bit more nuanced questions. I'm not asking these questions up front. I'm kind of letting it progress down a little bit. I'm going to say I own my home. Now, of course, this is beneficial to you, the insurance agent, because you know what you're quoting, auto and home. How much do you pay every month for auto insurance now? And I don't do set amounts. I do close to, because it's been my experience, having been in the insurance industry now for 15 years, if you ask people how much they're spending on insurance, they don't always know the exact dollar amount, but they know roughly, it's about $100. It's $150. It's close to $200. So I want them to, again, to go through this survey without having to think, without having to fatigue themselves mentally going through the questions. Now, and some people, you're watching this and you might be laughing, thinking, Nick, is it really that serious? It is. It helps conversions tremendously when you just ask the most simple questions. When you are just asking questions that aren't too wordy. How much do you pay every month for auto insurance? I'm not asking questions that are too wordy, that's causing them to have to work or to struggle to understand. I just want them to quickly go through it. Close to $150 a month. Who are you currently insured with? This is great because this is great not only for my data to know when I see this come through, if I see that they're with GEICO, I know we have a really good chance at beating them. Not just on rate, but in a sales conversation. We are gonna smoke them, and our value proposition is gonna be really good for them. But if they say something like Mercury or Safeco or whatever, Travelers, these are companies that I may or may not already represent. So it gives me a good idea where they're at. Maybe if they don't have a good relationship with their agent, that's something that can come out in the sales process, and maybe there's an opportunity there as well. But it helps me kind of know who I'm up against. So we're killing GEICO, so we're doing GEICO. Now I'm asking for the date of birth. And here's where I'm going to type something in and hit enter. What is my zip code? What is my street address? Now, this actually is a question that I've debated on having, but it's turned out to be okay. A lot of people don't necessarily like giving this information because it's too intrusive. The reason why I ask about the street address is because I need it for quoting. The whole idea is to get as much information as I can, and with smart technology, if you have a good comparative rater or you have the ability to look up data, to try to have a quote ready for them. What is my first name? Now, notice here, I don't ask for the last name. I feel like we're already bordering on the edge of being too intrusive and scaring off prospects. But I'm okay saying my first name. There's 1,000,001 Nicholases in the world, but there's only so many Nicholas Ayers. So if I just say my first name, then I still feel safe as a consumer. I still feel like this is still safe. Now, what is my last name? If they've answered that, now I'm going to ask for this. Now, here's something very sneaky and that I like to do. Of course, I put my name in incorrectly here, but I always like to give people some form of a result. Now, this is incredibly important to land more conversions at a cheaper cost on any advertising that you're doing. Give people what they want. And what do they want? They want an instant result. They want to know that they can win something, that they're the winner of a prize. And you have to give them the gratification that they're looking for. How do I know that based on their answers that we're likely at saving money? Well, if you're an insurance broker or you have multiple options, if they say that they're paying a certain amount of money, if they say that they don't have any tickets or accidents, if they say they have this many drivers, you can set up rules, otherwise known as conditional logic, on surveys, and whether it's Survey Gizmo or others, that if they answer a certain way, they get to the end of your survey, as we're at right here, or almost at, that you have a really good shot. It's very likely, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, that we're able to save you money on your truck insurance. Would you like to see your truck insurance results? Now, you'll notice I only give them one answer. There's only one answer. I don't give them the no. We're done giving them outs. So on the philosophy on this is, yes, of course I do. Let's lead them down the road of what we want. And if you'll notice, now I'm asking for an email address. I'm not asking for it prior to anything else. I want them to see the result. What is the best number to contact you? Hopefully you don't get 555-1212. But here you go. Thank you for completing the truck insurance quiz. Schedule a time. So now I'm leading everything to an appointment. Let's talk about it at a time that works best for you. So the whole philosophy is you want to ask very simple questions. You don't want to bombard them. And if you'll also notice, all of my questions were one at a time. I didn't create one giant form to put all the questions on there. And I also didn't ask questions that were not critically important to them qualifying for savings. If they don't qualify, or if there's more information I need to gather, I'm going to find that out in a sales process, on a phone call, in a discussion. I don't need to scare them on a form when they don't know who I am, when they're not really sure about this, they're putting their information on a website that they've never seen before. I want to make it as easy for them as possible. I want to squash the objections that they have, and I want them to feel like this is a pleasant experience. Yes, I'm asking for last name. Maybe I shouldn't even do that, but it seems to work. Maybe I shouldn't ask for street address. My cost per leads might be a little bit better, might be a little bit lower. But being able to gather this information now allows me with a comparative rater, then there's multiple ones on the market that allow this to happen. I can pull information and I can quote them. I can have as much data on them as possible, and I can respond to them faster, quicker, and in a more personable way than they might get from a company like GEICO Insurance. So I always like to put the calendar on the last page because I always want to put the ball in their court. Now, I'm going to call them anyway. They're going to hear from me, but I also would love to see them schedule an appointment. Now I know how serious they are. And we're going to talk about automation and follow-up on the next video. But this is a good step to continue to warm people up to the idea that you're going to be conversating with them, that this is a discussion at this point. Yes, you've told me I've saved. You've told me I've qualified. Now I want to talk to you, and I want to make this happen. I'm going to call them immediately anyways. Maybe I can catch them. But if not, let's get them on the calendar. So one question at a time. Make it simple. Don't ask questions that is confusing, that isn't critically important to you qualifying your lead. This is the best way that you can think of when generating leads for auto insurance and insurance in general, is with survey forms that are very simple. I hope this video helps. I'll see you on the follow-up and automation call.